Hello, people of the internet. It's been a little while, but I should be able to actually upload stuff more frequently during this Christmas break, although it will actually probably be kind of different. It won't really be commentaries. I'm heading over to visit family for a couple weeks, and what I can do is going to be limited by the fact that I will not have this shitty $30 microphone that I have been using this whole time. So, and by the way, I have no idea what this gearing is doing. This is some Des Moines gameplay on the Islands of Ice map. I decided just to go A, why else do you go A on Islands of Ice unless you just spawn up here and just hope that the vast majority of the team goes BC, because that's a far better position. All I'm really going for up here is just clear out this cap as fast as possible and then head into B to oppose whatever enemy destroyers are there. And by the way, this Neptune is the only enemy ship that actually came up here. Our gearing is taking the long way around and is going to be pretty much useless, so it's down to just me and the Kurfürst to deal with this Neptune, and a Neptune that decides not to rush me with torpedoes is just, it's cannon fodder for a Des Moines. And the Des Moines is also, by the way, pretty much the ideal ship for combating all of the new I say new, the resurgence of the aircraft carriers and the actually new Pan-Asian DDs. You know, a cruiser with radar and just ridiculous anti-aircraft, it just, doesn't care about either of those things. Whereas the battleships are feeling the pain, this thing, yeah, I'm just playing it like I normally do. And this guy decides not to rush me with torpedoes and try and take me out before getting blasted by the Kurfürst. Tries to just use the island and, torpedo the Kurfürst, which has hydro and can just avoid it, and give me the broadside of his ship in the process. So, yeah, that's A captured straight away. So, I'm gonna just sit in this cap for about 25 more seconds and sail down into B, radar what destroyers are there, as well as try and flush out the enemy Des Moines that is creeping behind one of the islands down there. So, these new ship lines have changed the game kind of in an interesting way. The aircraft carriers now at higher tiers are they're kind of annoying in the sense that AP bombs can just blap people in very, very, short order. It's just been interesting adjusting to it. Though, again, Des Moines, ideally, you just don't care. You can still get AP bombed and just utterly demolished in a Des Moines, but that's just because you fuck up with the defensive fire. The Pan-Asian destroyers, though, I honestly haven't really seen too much of an impact of them at high tiers as opposed to AP bomb, Lexington, Essexes, and Midways. Though, I imagine that they're, not being too disruptive, I suppose. I actually don't have any DD above tier 8, so I have no direct experience with fighting one of those things in something like a gearing, so I'm not really at liberty to speak with them. But hey, at lower tiers, tier like 8 down to about tier 4, they're not really being too disruptive. At first, of course, they were just absolutely filling the queues, and it was hilarious to watch people who had no idea what deep water torps were try to torpedo me at point blank range, whereas I'm just sitting there just, without a care in the world, just gunning them down. That happened a few times at like tier 3, which I can honestly attribute that to just kind of, low tier problems, but, it could be really anything, honestly. So now I'm in now I'm in B and, have the radar going. Des Moines is now pinned down, and all of the destroyers down there are being chased out of the cap. So I'm gonna take a page out of that enemy Des Moines playbook, and I'm gonna end up just creeping up to that island there and just hanging out and preventing the enemy from actually from pushing in and trying to retake the cap. I'm stuttering a lot this replay. I really need to practice talking. So yes, but moving on, we have a substantial, or a kind of substantial force down at sea that's preventing the majority of the enemy team from pushing through that cap, although they have managed to secure it. I'm hoping these friendly torpedoes will end up tagging the Des Moines. I don't believe they do, but I have the broadside of this Martel in the distance, and few of the torpedo beats. I end up avoiding a lot of torpedoes very, very closely while I am in this position here. Destroyers, as if you hadn't heard before, don't like Des Moines getting in their way too much, so they try to torpedo you a lot. So this Des Moines is now running away. Our gearing, again, just has gone the long way around. He's on the other side of that guy, but he, again, doesn't really contribute too much to this battle. I park my ship in a position where the iceberg is between me and all of the ships on the enemy team down at sea, and I am bow on to this Des Moines. And Des Moines AP, or 203mm AP, cannot overmatch the bow of a tier 10 cruiser, so he is being forced to sling HE at me, whereas I was honestly swinging, firing AP for far longer than I should have. Enemy destroyer is up there. I'm guessing that's probably the enemy Yugumo, or maybe the enemy Shima. I don't know. The enemy gearing, I know, is about to try and make a push onto the B cap. Yeah, it's the Yugumo. The enemy gearing is going to make a push into the cap right there. I happen to catch my secondary shooting at him, pop a shot at him with the rear turret. The radar is lighting him up, and yes, he's down. Yep. And here comes more torpedoes, and again, I'm only very, very, nearly are going to hit me, but again, close is the same thing as just missing. So this Des Moines on the enemy team is now down. Yugumo has to deal with our gearing that is still pretty far away, though his focus is still on me at this moment, as honestly it really should be, because I'm not shooting, and I catch a Citadel from the side, and right there, that's how I know that I pulled too far back, so I immediately go back forward again. Though really there's no point to that, as I end up losing contact with the enemy Des Moines, and I believe he's going to get taken out pretty shortly by one of my teammates here, and this Yugumo is now behind the island. Now, the Des Moines is best used as just kind of an area denial ship, basically just like this. Camp, protect your broadside, make use of the US gun arcs whenever possible. And see, now I know that this Yugumo has come around the iceberg, and right now I'm backing up. I'm letting the Shimakaze on my team pass me. Hopefully he can spot torpedoes ahead of time for me, and pop some shots at the Charles Martel while I'm doing it. Switch over to the armor piercing because I have his broadside, and set a fire with the HE salvo, and this should finish him off. So now I'm trying to get on the opposite side of this iceberg in order to get out of the way of these Yugumo torpedoes that I know are coming, and yeah, there they are. So, but the problem is accelerating while pulling hard right rudder isn't really as fast as you would want it to be, but it just barely works. So yeah, I've gotten tons of torpedoes fired at me and have hit absolutely nothing. And there's the enemy Yugumo being lit up by my friendly destroyers. And I'm going to start sailing down toward the sea cap because our team down at sea has held off the enemy push, and they're all pretty much just sitting in the cap, and this Yugumo is going to run into the wreck of the Charles Martel that I just killed earlier. And I'm waiting for him to disappear before I pop radar in order to maximize the consumable's effectiveness. Yeah, he gets stuck on the hull. And yeah, so he's being lit up for my friendly destroyers, and honestly only kind of shitty shooting on my part because I can't really make out the silhouette of the Yugumo when it's being overlapped with the wreck of the Martel. I couldn't really make it out too well, so shitty shooting on my part is, see right there, the salvo falls short. But yeah, that is the only reason why I wasn't able to get kill number 3 right there instead of a bit later on in the sea cap. Now, lastly, the Des Moines, honestly, when I was playing the Baltimore and was kind of struggling with it, like in the middle of the grind, I really did not think that I would like the Des Moines once I finally got to it, just because I was having such a hard time with the Baltimore. But yeah, the Des Moines is just, it's so much better than the Balti, just essentially just for that rate of fire alone, as well as the longer radar duration and a bit more health. So I am very, very happy I stuck with the Balti and fought my way through the pain. Although by the end of that grind, I was feeling a lot more comfortable with that ship. So yes, Des Moines. It's the end-all be-all cure for all this. All these U.S. carriers and Pan-Asian DDs at the high tiers. Battleships had to adjust their playstyle, but this thing, nope. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna blap this broadside Moskva here in 2 salvos and double my damage count to end the game. I'm rotting my brain, and that is the video.